Hello all you lovely people and welcome to another video of mine. In today's video I'm going to be talking about Spider-Man 2 on the Lenovo Legion Go. That's right there, and that's hooked up to my Haltech Alpha eGPU. And in today's video I'm going to be showing you the performance of this game when connected to an external GPU like the Haltech Alpha eGPU with the RX 7600 MXT, which is a dedicated 8 GB VRAM graphic card. So I'm going to be talking about the performance of the game when you are using something like this. Now, before we get started, I just quickly want to show you the Adrenaline version that I'm actually running with. So if you are noticing here, right here, I've got 25.3.1. However, let me tell you that the driver version that I'm actually using is 25.3.2. Because when you hook up your Legion Go with an eGPU like the Haltech Alpha eGPU in this case, you will have to update the drivers. And what I've done is I've uninstalled the drivers for the primary or this discrete eGPU, and I have side-loaded or installed 25.3.2. So what you're seeing here on the home screen is the driver, the display driver for my internal GPU, which is the Radeon 780M. So that's something that I want you guys to take a note of. So even though it's 25.3.1, it's technically not, because I'm going to be using the Radeon RX 7600 MXT in this case. And the driver version that I'm running with for that is 25.3.2. So you may want to take a note of it. And how do you install 25.3.1 if you haven't already got it? Well, I've got a dedicated video on side-loading drivers on the Legion Go. The driver version that I've shown in that video is 24.12.1, but the process remains the same except for the file that you'll be downloading. So instead of downloading the .exe of 24.12.1, just download the display driver 25.3.1, but the rest of the process stays the same. So this is what I'm currently running with. So now let's just load up the game. I have MSI's Afterburner running in the background as well. And let's load this up and see how this performs. You may want to take a look at all the performance metrics on the top left corner of the screen. And I'm going to be commentating on what the performance is like. Let's get started, folks. Okay, guys, so I make these videos so that you can make the most out of your Legion Go. So in this scenario, what I've done is, although I wanted to play this at 1440p, but I did a lot of trial and error, and I figured out that the best resolution or the best graphical setting that you can play with is 1200p when you're running with the RX 7600 MXT. Now, please note the RX 7600 MXT in itself is a 1080p high or ultra or a 1440p medium card. So let me just show you the settings that I'm playing with. I'm playing it on full screen, 1200p, and I do have frame generation turned on, and the upscale method is XeSS, and the upscale quality has been kept at balanced. Now for the graphical settings, I am running with medium texture quality, but there are some settings that have been turned on to the high settings. For instance, the level of detail, still high, traffic density high, crowd density high, hair quality high, weather particle quality high. The depth of field has been on medium. So these are some of the settings that I am running with. As you can see, ray tracing, I've obviously turned it off because the Radeon cards are not very good with ray tracing. So I'm not even going to attempt to turn this on while I'm recording this video. So these are some of the graphical settings that I'm running with. In case you're wondering what kind of TDP I'm running with, then that's the performance mode. I've not maxed out the TDP. One thing that I did notice when I maxed out the TDP from Legion Space is that the game itself crashed. Because when you have a TDP set to 30, 35 or 45 watts, what generally happens is that the Legion Go becomes too hot and it disconnects from the GPU. So that is a problem that you might run into. So I will recommend not to turn the GDP, I'm saying TDP. So what I've also done is I've tried to turn the frame generation upscaling method. What I've done is I've kept the frame generation on, but instead of balance mode, I've now gone over to performance mode in XeSS. And let's see how this works. So this is already much better, guys. This is 1200p Yes, it is much better. It's more consistent performance that I'm getting. And this looks smooth, guys. This is more than a playable experience, it's actually an enjoyable experience. And if you notice, the performance is a solid almost 40 to 50 FPS. Of course, I'm still not getting 60 FPS, and it's definitely not giving me 100 FPS like it's done in some of the other games with this eGPU. Hey, that's the thing of working with eGPUs, yeah? Some games perform well, some games don't. Unfortunately, Spider-Man 2 is one of those games that just doesn't perform well on the Legion Go overall. I mean, irrespective of whether I'm using an eGPU or not, it just refuses to perform well. Spider-Man Miles Morales, on the other hand, seems to be performing comparatively better than Spider-Man 2. So as a game, it's just optimized in a better way. Here, however, with Spider-Man 2, you can't expect the same performance as Miles Morales, but it's not doing that bad here at 1200p. Now, please keep an eye on that counter on the top left corner as well. You would notice that I'm using close to 10 GB of RAM. The GPU is also almost maxed out because out of that 8 GB of VRAM, I'm using close to 7.5 GB. Like almost 94% of the GPU is being utilized. I'm still at 20 watts TDP because it's on the performance mode. The temperatures are pretty alright, it's 71 degrees, so at performance mode, the Legion Go does not tend to get hot. But the moment it touches 85 and above, your eGPU will disconnect. So that's one problem that you will run into, and you can avoid that issue by staying at the performance TDP instead of a custom TDP. If you run with a custom TDP, the issue that you will have is that your system will just overheat. And whenever your system overheats, your eGPU or any device that you connect, you might have an issue. Any USB-C device that you connect, you might have an issue with that. So that's just how these handheld PCs work. I think it's not just Legion Go, but any other PC with the same processor, which is the Z1 Extreme, would probably be running into the same issues that you are facing here on the Legion Go. But so far, I'm web slinging pretty happily all across the city at close to 60 FPS in some cases, but it seems to be hovering between a solid 45 to maybe 55 FPS. And this is very playable, guys. This is at 1200p in terms of the resolution, and it doesn't look that bad on a big screen. Now, the advantage of playing on a small screen of Legion Go itself is that even if you take the resolution down to 720p, it won't look as bad as it would look on a big screen like this. But if you try to play on a big screen like a 55-inch TV in this case of mine with 720p resolution, obviously it's going to be glaringly bad. So I am not going to be playing on a 55-inch TV at 720p, and therefore I need something like an external GPU to play at least at 1200p. And at 1200p, it doesn't look bad on a 55-inch screen if you're playing from a distance of, say, about 8 feet, which is the case in my case here. So I'm at a distance of, say, about 8 feet from the screen, and the screen looks sharp. The screen looks pretty good, and things look pretty decent even in terms of the performance, because as you can see, I've been web slinging for quite some time now. The CPU temperatures have been fine. The GPU temperature is also fine. It hasn't exceeded even 75 degrees. So for most parts, the temperatures are pretty stable. The performance is pretty stable as well. It's not that bad performance. And this is at 1200p, guys. This is the sweetest and the most optimum performance of your Legion Go with an external GPU in my case. I've shown you all the in-game settings that I'm running with as well. I am using frame generation, of course, and therefore I've been able to get those high frame rates of even 60 FPS. And as you can see, for most parts, I am actually getting close to 60 FPS. And it seems to have stabilized quite well at that 60 FPS point. It's dipping down below 60 FPS in some cases, and maybe in very highly populated areas, it might even dip down to, let's say, 45 or so. This area with a lot of lights, yeah, it did dip down to 50 FPS there, and even 45. It can dip down to 45 as well. But I think for most parts, it's a solid close to 60 FPS experience. And as you can see, the Legion Go is doing quite well with this Haltech Alpha eGPU. So this is not just a playable experience, but an enjoyable experience on your Legion Go thanks to the external GPU. And this performance would not have been possible without an external GPU. And please note that some of the texture details, the crowd density, all of that have been kept at high. If I take those settings down, then I might even get a better performance than this. Yeah, so this is pretty solid, guys. A pretty solid performance. And thanks to this eGPU that I'm working with, and overall this looks pretty good. Now, when you use something like frame generation or lossless scaling, you might actually run into clipping issues, artifacting and ghosting issues. But as you can see here, I have none of those issues. So even when you pan the camera around really fast like this, I don't have any of those issues. There is no ghosting, there is no artifacting, there is no clipping issues, because I'm not using something like AFMF 2.1 or even lossless scaling in this case. This is pure native performance. Of course, yeah, I mean, when I say native performance, this is your in-game frame generation and your in-game upscaling, that is XeSS. So yes, I am using that. But since I'm using the in-game settings and not using something like AFMF 2.1 or lossless scaling, thank God I don't have any ghosting, I don't have any artifacting, I don't have any clipping, and most importantly, I don't have any lag. Because when you use frame generation, then you actually end up experiencing serious amounts of lag or latency issues, which does not seem to be plaguing me and my gameplay time here with Spider-Man 2 on my Legion Go, again thanks to the Haltech Alpha eGPU that I'm running with. So I have spoken about this eGPU in my unboxing and initial impressions video, how much I bought this for. The configuration that this has, well, it's pretty straightforward. It's the Radeon RX 7600 MXT, which is a 8GB dedicated VRAM graphic card that you are using in this eGPU. And overall, the performance has been very enjoyable. I wouldn't even say playable, enjoyable is the right word here, because as you can see, I'm getting definitely more than 45 FPS. In most cases, close to 60 FPS as well. And again, if I dial the settings down, like some of those high settings down, like texture quality, crowd density, hair quality, etc. If I dial those settings down to medium, I might even get more than the FPS that you're seeing on screen. So this is my overall experience with the game Spider-Man 2 on the Legion Go using Haltech Alpha eGPU. If you've liked this video, then I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit that like and subscribe button, and also that bell icon in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos. I do make many videos on the Legion Go. These are my Let's Play videos on the Legion Go. And apart from this, I have game reviews. I have unboxing and review of items or products related to gaming. So if you want to become a part of my community, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button and you can join my community as a viewer. There is an option of joining my community as a member as well for as low as $1, and that would also help me fetch a cup of coffee. And I thank you in advance for supporting my channel, whether it's financially or non-financially. Even if you are a viewer, you're still supporting my channel because that helps with the YouTube algorithm when you like, share, and subscribe this video. And I thank you for doing all of that. And please do tune into the other videos that I have on my channel by going or scrolling through my video list. Because if you are looking forward to a lot of Legion Go content, then my channel may be the right place for you to check out Legion Go settings and optimum performance and how to get the most out of your Legion Go. So with that said, it's a wrap for this one, folks. I will see you lovely folks in my next video. Until that time, I'll say take care, stay safe, and may God bless you all.